Welcome back to the Think Bigger Real Estate Show. I'm your host, Justin Stoddart. Today, we're going to deliver to you. We're speaking to real estate agents. We're going to give you tactical tools on how you can work better with mortgage loan officers. They're not going to be cold calling into you anymore. You're going to want to work with them because the gentleman that I have with us today actually works directly with them, helping them get leads coming into their business. So we're going to turn the paradigm here a little bit. Before I introduce today's guest, I want to remind you that inside of the Think Bigger Real Estate group in Facebook, there you are going to be able to access tidbits and very digestible tactical pieces of these shows. So if you're not yet a member of the Think Bigger Real Estate group on Facebook, you're missing out. Let's get it done. It's 2021. Let's roll. I also want to, again, thank today's guest. His name's Luke Shankula, and he is a digital marketing expert. Again, works closely with mortgage loan officers, real estate agents. Luke, thank you for coming on the show today. It's a total pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, thank you, Justin.
Yeah, let's get into this. So tell me, how did you kind of recognize the fact that maybe this paradigm was broken a little bit, right? That we had, again, mortgage loan officers that are just beating down the doors of real estate agents, calling them, and to the point to where real estate agents are like, I don't want to hear from another lender, right? Because all they're doing is saying, hey, I want to work with you. You stepped in and said, look, mortgage loan officers, knock it off. I've got let's make you more valuable, right? Let's make it to where people want to work with you, not to where they're trying to avoid you. Is that safe to say?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, one of the things that has been the status quo in the real estate industry has been, real estate agents really at the top of the status quo sort of pile or whatever you want to call that. But, hey, you get the leads, you're the one that because ultimately the consumer, I mean, at the end of the day, consumers don't want a mortgage, they want a house, right? And so the non-sexy part of the real estate transaction is the loan, right? But of course, without the loan, it can't happen. And so, for the longest time, the old school tactic or whatever you want to call it, it still works, right? I mean, but it's basically to pound real estate agents, go to coffee days, go do this, go do that, cold call, all the 40 real estate agents every single Monday, right? That's one of those other programs out there.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, those things all work. But a lot of times people come and they're like, I have the best rates, I close on time, and I pick up my phone. Oh, so you're just reciting your job description to me, huh? I mean, there's no value proposition there. There's no unique selling proposition that a lot of times loan officers are coming with. Yeah, you know what? Like the reality is relationships matter as well, right? You want to work with people that you're similar to. But what if you could also give back, right? Give back deals to real estate agents, right? That's kind of what we started to do, and worked for a while back with real estate agents, loan officers, things like that as well. But really kind of decided to go all in with the loan officers because we really wanted to help loan officers really sort of shift that and be more of a partner versus just gimme all the time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great paradigm. For those that don't know, I've just completed and released a book called The Upstream Model, in which I share exactly what you're saying here, which is all too often we show up, we identify somebody that can help us in the marketplace, and then we show up as a vendor or even a solicitor, and it's not very well received when we come in with our hand out saying, what can I get from you? Whereas the paradigm shift, I talk about in the book, and that you're teaching people to do here, which I absolutely love, which is be valuable first, then go to somebody and say, what can I give? As opposed to, hey, you can help me, what can I get, right? Totally different paradigm. I love it.
Right. If you can approach someone and say, hey, like, if I could help make you an extra 30 grand this year, would that be valuable type of thing? But that's with the caveat to, a lot of times, especially recently, loan officers have gotten into this whole, let's just get a whole bunch of cheap leads and give them to real estate agents. Reality is real estate agents don't want that either, right? They want more closed deals, right? They want to close more transactions, more listings, more buyers. And so, first and foremost, you still have to be a good loan officer. And you have to close your deals on time, and you have to communicate, right? I mean, over and over and over again, I'm in multiple real estate groups on Facebook, and I see this, a lot of the biggest things that they hit on when loan officers ask, hey, what's something that you want out of your loan officer? Obviously, a huge one is, hey, I want more deals referred back to me. But the other couple that I see pretty often is you close on time and you communicate. Those are the two main things that I see, other than, hey, you can give me deals back, right? And so it's huge. It's a huge sort of shift in the perception and the way, every branch manager pretty much out there, as soon as a new LO comes, what are they going to tell you? Okay, go talk to real estate agents. It's great. How though? And that just doesn't happen, right? Most of the time it's just this cold call, see if you fit with someone, and relationships happen. And obviously that you can still get business that way, but there's a better way, I think.
Well, and here's actually kind of a headliner that I use to like get people aware of the book. And I know this isn't about me, but it's like we're so aligned on this matter that I can't help continuing to talk about it. But I kind of headline with like let me tell you the truth. You actually don't need more cold leads. You want more warm referrals. Like at the end of the day, people will take like 100 to 1, like when it comes to like warm referrals over cold leads, because the warm referral is like nearly closed, right? Whereas the cold lead, yeah, I might get 2 out of that pile, but I'm going to have to like pester and like I'm going to have to talk to 100 people and pester 98 of them, right? That don't want anything or that I'm not able to close. And so all day long, I'd take a warm referral. I'll take 1 warm referral over 100 cold leads all day long, right?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Well, the other side of that too, right, is so many people think that by just getting more leads, they're going to automatically close more deals, right? And it's like, no, like if you have a broken system, if you don't have a good follow-up process, if you don't have a good sales system, if you don't have a good after you get the application or after you get them into whatever, like if you don't have a good follow-up process, like more leads is just going to lead to broken results because you have a broken system, right? And so that's the huge part of it as well. Is so many times, loan officers come to us. And it's funny, just to say, I just talked to one of our clients who's been with us about 18 months or so, and he had a real estate agent that was kind of co-marketing with them. Basically, he was just handing off some leads to him, and the real estate agent comes to him and says, "Oh, the leads aren't great." And he tells me, he's like, "Dude, I literally just took 4 applications in the last 2 days." So it's just funny when you just having 2 different people saying 2 different things about the same exact leads, right? And so there's that, right? Like so many times people think leads or whatever, and it's true though. A lot of what we talk about is how can you leverage these cold leads to get more warm referrals? Because referrals are life, right? So yeah,
all the difference. So what advice? I mean, again, today's promise of the show is how do we help real estate agents work better with mortgage loan officers? What have you learned in this process? Because again, you've been on the other side of the table coaching up mortgage loan officers saying, hey guys, PS, this isn't helpful, like calling them incessantly. And secondly, this isn't like the stuff that you're giving them actually isn't isn't very valuable. You may think that it is because someone told you that it is, but if you ask the client, aka your real estate agent, right, like the one that you want to be in business with, they're the client. If they really want more of that, oftentimes it's like no, or they're not gonna. It's not their thing. They're not set up like you said with the systems to be able to actually turn that into business. So what advice then would you have for real estate agents that want to in this year have, I'm going to call it an upstream partner of a mortgage loan officer that can help feed them warm referrals? What advice would you have?
I mean, my thought process behind that is there's loan officers out there doing that. There's some loan officers that are generating their own business. I think you got to be careful with, and I'll say this kind of like, depending on your processes and stuff, if you have a good follow-up process, great. If a loan officer wants to kind of help you get more leads or whatever, and you have a good follow-up process, great, work with them, right? But what I try to tell my loan officers is actually get them approved, right? And find out what they actually qualify for before you start just pounding leads at your agents, right? And because again, like I mentioned earlier, like agents want to close more deals. They don't want to, they don't want more work, right? Are you putting more work on their plate, or are you, putting commission in their pocket, right? And so, I think there's a good amount of loan officers out there. I mean, I wouldn't say a huge amount, but there's quite a bit of loan officers out there that are creating their own business, right? They are creating their own deals, and I think, finding people like that are willing to be an actual partner. And come alongside you, whether that be, sometimes the loan officers get stuck in this whole mindset of like, oh, well, they just want me to pay for their marketing. It's like, well, yeah, because they're sending you like, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of commissions a year, right? So of course they want you to do something in return, but how can you actually bring more value, right? And I think real estate agents need to find the right sort of partners. And again, with the caveat that like, there are some people out there that like focus so much on almost being a marketer that they forget to be a good loan officer. So there is that sort of fine line. It's like, hey, you know what? Like, find the right people, and the people that are willing to do the work, that are good loan officers, but then also that are able to give back. That's really where I see huge value, and where I really do think that there's going to be a shift over the next, especially with internet, right? Like, I think it was a NAR stat that like 97% of home buyers, I think it's 97% of home buyers at some point within their buying journey went online to look for houses and stuff like that, right? And so I don't think they started. I think there's like 70 something percent. And I actually have the stat here that I had up because I was going to use it for an ad. But yes, huge numbers like that where it's like 75%, I believe, of, it says right here, buyers typically search for 8 weeks and looked at a median of 9 homes. Oh, and the share of home buyers who use the internet to search for a home increased to
Hey, Luke, you're breaking up a little bit, buddy. I can't hear you real well.
You hear me?
You're cutting out.
Weird. Am I here? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hey, Luke, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
I think you're back.
Okay.
Go ahead, talk.
Cool. No, what I was saying is that the share of home buyers who use the internet to search for a home increased to an all-time high of 97%.
I'm gonna see if we can get Luke's
audio fix.
Hold on, Luke. I'm gonna so one thing that I'm kind of taking away from all of this, if there's one thing that anybody that's listening here can really take away from this, right, is that when you show up as a solicitor, you're not really that valuable, right? You've got to show up looking to give as opposed to looking to get. And I love what Luke shared there at the end before we start having some technical difficulties. He shared this concept of actually identifying the right partners. Don't just say yes to somebody simply because they're willing to pay for your marketing. They may not be the person that can actually partner with you, right? Actually bring you warm referrals, not just sign a check and do cold business. Like, in fact, that should be kind of an eye opener to some degree. If they have no warm business coming in, all they have is cold business, it might tell you something about the way they take care of their customers, stay in contact with their customers. If they have business coming to them, as opposed to them always having to pay for it, right? Then that probably tells you something about the way that they're taking care of their customers. So Luke, I'm going to try you again here. Let's see if we can get you back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Let's try it again.
Weird. I just kind of wiggled on my cords and figured hopefully that works. So
all right. So we got just a few minutes left. Share with us. You said that we're kind of moving towards this internet trend, right? Where more and more people are finding their providers online. Is that? I was kind of picking up bits and pieces of what you're saying.
Yeah. So I was kind of looking at a stat, and I believe this came from NAR, but it's basically the share of home buyers who use the internet to search for a home increased to an all-time high of 97%, especially this year, obviously with, the pandemic and not being able to, go out and see people as much and go out and see homes. I think it's overwhelmingly important. And I think there's going to be a shift over the next few years to really just being online, right? And loan officers, if they're smart, are going to try to get in front of those people before real estate agents are. I mean, obviously, it's been a shift over the years, right? It was like, they had the MLS, or before the MLS, usually they had the books or whatever, right? Real estate agents, so they had the keys to the kingdom. And as the internet opens up the availability, Zillows of the world are coming in to well, and that's the other thing too, is I think real estate agents, as well as loan officers, need to really capitalize on using social media, internet, stuff like that, to get in front of these consumers before the Zillows of the world and those people get there, because ultimately, they're trying to take over your business, right? I mean, that's really what they're trying to do at this point. And so why not compete with them and do things the same way, right? People like to talk crap on the Quickens of the world, the Zillows of the world, because of the way they do it, but they clearly are doing something right, and they're doing something that the consumer appreciates, right? Like, everybody hates on Zillow, but the reality is they have made it easier for the consumer to access the information they want, which is houses, right? So maybe not so much like the company, but how can you leverage what they're doing with your own marketing to essentially do the same thing, but kind of get your own little corner of the world, right? Like, just really just crush your market. And a lot of times people talk a little bit of crap about Facebook ads, stuff like that. A lot of times it's not the platform, it's the way it's used, right? And so there's a lot of ways that you could use the platform, $1 a day strategies, $2 a day strategies, just to stay in front of your audience, your client list, whoever you want to put your ads in front of. It's super cheap. Attention is super cheap on Facebook right now. I mean, it's getting more expensive, but it's still really cheap. So yeah, those are my thoughts there.
It's great. It's great stuff, man. I think it's great insight for everybody to be thinking, like, where are we headed? Who's winning? Why are they winning? Why am I not winning all of it? And how do I start to adjust, not give up what's worked, but how do I pivot to adopt some things that are working for others, right? Without abandoning the fundamentals of taking great care of people, of having a kind of a warm relationship-based business, right? Yet implementing some of the new technologies. I'm going to move now, Luke, to the signature question of our show. This has been insightful to hear from somebody, again, who coaches loan officers on how to add value to real estate agents. Hopefully this has been valuable to both sides, right? Both loan officers as well as real estate agents. Luke, I'm going to ask you again, the signature question of the show is this, which is, you're a big thinker. You're doing some great things. What is it that Luke does to continue to be a big thinker, to continue to expand your possibilities, to continue to grow both yourself and your opportunities? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, so as an entrepreneur, I mean, like it's always not enough. I mean, it's kind of hard, right? Because we get in this, or sort of like the curse of achievement is what one of my coaches likes to call it, right? Is you just want to continue to grow. And so what I'm always trying to think myself is like, how can I think long term, right? Because so many times, and I see this with loan officers quite a bit, especially right now with how low the rates are, like they're doing refis like crazy, right? And so it's like, don't forget about your real estate agents. Don't forget about your real estate agents. Don't forget about the long-term game. What's the long-term game look like? And so that's what I'm always looking for. What's that next phase of the process? How can I put processes in place in my business that will support the business in the long term, not what's happening today? And so that's really what I'm always looking at in my business is, how can we put processes in place to simplify the process and to make it easier for our clients, our customers to have a good experience, right? Because ultimately, one thing that I've learned over the last few years is people remember the way that you make them feel more so than they remember the product and the service that you provide to them, right? And so just always about, to me, is, if you've never read the book, Never Lose a Customer Again, hugely recommend that. It's just really all about creating a client experience. And I think that is the future, is creating a client experience that goes way beyond just the service that you provide, right? The little gifts and the little touches, all these things create an experience. And so again, that's what I'm thinking is like, how can I continue to serve at a higher level, but also looking out, 10, 12, paid, like what is it that's going to help us in the future? Because so many times people are stepping over dollars to pick up pennies today, right? They're so focused on today business that they don't build the pipeline for the future. Oh, this person wants to buy in 18 months. Don't worry about them, right? It's like, well, you know what? Like, that's your buyer in 18 months. Like, do something to stay in front of them, right?
Right. Yeah. Great stuff, man. I want to thank you again for all you've contributed today. I want to thank those that have tuned in, commented. I appreciate it. And I know it's has an effect upon us when we're around people that are doing big things, that are helping to mold the industry, helping make it better for the consumer, helping make it better for the providers that are serving the consumer. Those are the people who want to be around. Luke, you're one of those people. Thank you so much for that. And I want to remind everybody here, we've talked a little bit about my book, The Upstream Model. I've actually created a thing where I've actually bought the book, and I'll ship it to your house. If you help me cover the cost of shipping and handling, go to upstreammodel.com/book. Again, that's upstreammodel.com/book. And you'll learn all about it. Many of the principles we've talked about today tie in very directly with this. So Luke, I want to thank you again and appreciate it. My final requests of everybody listening here today are 3 simple words, and they are: go think bigger. Thanks, Luke. Appreciate you, man.
Love it, man. Have a good one.
You too.